in this hour's focus segment, attention is now turning to the 48th ASEAN Summit as countries navigate a deepening global crisis and ongoing regional tensions.
Right, and this is precisely why the ASEAN leaders have gathered for the summit to address mounting economic pressure, rising energy costs, and fragile regional security, while also reaffirming the growing importance of the ASEAN unity and centrality. And here is a closer look at the key moments and messages from the summit.
Kindly face the center camera.
Southeast Asian leaders stressed an urgent need to coordinate their response to the impacts of the Middle East crisis as they aim to ease pressure from an energy shock that has rattled their oil import-reliant economies.
In the past 2 months alone, rising oil prices driven up by the Middle East conflict have pushed up the cost of basic goods and placed ASEAN nationals in harm's way around the world. It is precisely against this backdrop that the 48th ASEAN Summit convened, and that ASEAN's unity and centrality matters most, especially in such times.
The leaders of Thailand and Cambodia agreed on Thursday to pursue trust-building measures to advance a fragile ceasefire and establish peace after rare talks over last year's deadly fighting between the two neighbors.
Thailand and Cambodia are two neighboring countries. It is best that we avoid conflict. It only brings losses and suffering. Now is the time for us to look forward and walk this path together towards peace. This requires sincerity, good faith, and determination.
Our discussions focus on de-escalations and trust-building measures to restore and consolidate a functioning framework for lasting peace and renormalize relations.
Officials said ASEAN would prioritize stabilizing supply, strengthening regional trade, and accelerating joint responses to inflationary pressures, while talks are also expected to revisit efforts to advance a long-delayed code of conduct in the East Sea.
As we have just mentioned, the 48th ASEAN Summit comes at a critical moment for Southeast Asia as the region faces countless regional issues. And amid these challenges, Vietnam has continued to play an active role in promoting ASEAN unity and dialogue in a rules-based regional order.
And that effort is closely aligned with the summit's theme, navigating our shared future together. To better understand Vietnam's contributions and ASEAN's evolving role in the region, we're now joined by Dr. Ekaterina Kodunova, Director of the ASEAN Center at Moscow State Institute of International Relations. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsline. Now, Vietnam is increasingly seen as one of ASEAN's most proactive and internationally engaged members, especially in diplomacy, supply chain integration, and multilateral cooperation. So from your perspective, what distinguishes Vietnam's role within ASEAN at this moment?
I would say that Vietnam is currently one of the leading states in ASEAN. And these are not just words, because this position is defined by two important factors. Number one is Vietnam's proactive foreign policy and deep integration in the international economic system due to its, very advanced, I would say, very proactive trade liberalization policy. Number two is Vietnam's ambitions to pursue the path of national rejuvenation. And the 14th Vietnam Communist Party Congress took several very important decisions of formidable substance, I would say. One of them is to sustain the two-digit economic growth in the coming years, in the coming decade even. So all these factors taken together, if Vietnam keeps on going along this path, of course will influence Vietnam's role in ASEAN as well.
And as ASEAN navigates a more uncertain global landscape, what opportunities and perhaps responsibilities could emerge for Vietnam in helping strengthen ASEAN unity and strategic autonomy?
Well, I think given Vietnam's current foreign policy and national development goals we just mentioned, Vietnam first should strongly contribute to developing ASEAN diplomatic toolkit of balancing between major powers, maybe inventing new ways of reconciling very divergent views or escaping being trapped between major powers. And second, Vietnam could tailor its national development goals to pan-regional development goals to contribute to the ASEAN economic community building in a way that, for example, Vietnam can, going up along the technological ladder, create its own supply chains or contribute to the creation of ASEAN-owned supply chains, Indo-Chinese supply chains, and thus enhance the regional resilience to become the common production base, as it was stated in many ASEAN economic community documents and blueprints. So this is the spectrum where I think Vietnam can have its strong voice in ASEAN.
Well, thank you for your insights.